After studying this module, you shall be able to learn about the economic institutions, understand the need for regulations, analyze the impact of economic institutions, and criticize the international economic institution. Institutions play a crucial role in our life, starting from family to educational and religious institutions, so and so forth. They are with us all the time. The world economic order is no different. It is supported by various institutions in varied forms. With the assistance of this module, you shall be able to understand what these institutions are and what impact do they have in our lives. Concept of economic institutions. To get a greater understanding of what economic institutions are, it is important to first understand what institutions are. Quoting North 1989, institutions are rules enforcement characteristics of rules and norms of behavior that structure repeated human interaction. Coming to economic institutions, simply stating the term economic institutions refers to two things. First, specific agencies or foundations, both private and government, devoting to collecting or studying economic data or commissioned with the job of supplying a good or service that is important to the economy of a country, the Reserve Bank of India, the government producer of money, the National Bureau of Economic Research, which is a private research agency, are few of the various examples of economic institutions. And second is the structures and arrangements which are well established and form a part of the society or culture. For example, competitive markets, unemployment allowances, the system of banking and a system of rights on property are the examples of economic institutions. How economic institutions are formed? There are two ways by which institutions can come up. First, informally through repeated interactions between individuals or through organization established expected norms of behavior, and second, formally through deliberate design. As far as deliberate design is concerned, it might be an initiative from private enterprise or civil society, or government could be the establishing body. In both cases, institutions, it can be argued that they are created and evolved in response to the uncertainty, risk and cost of information associated with living and transacting in a world that is not perfect. Thus, these institutions are mechanisms functioning rationally and set up to cope with the imperfections of the markets, including the asymmetry of information held by different actors, the issues faced by principals in ensuring that agents work towards the same goal, etc. This is suitable explanation to why seemingly irrational and inefficient institutions such as sharecropping have persisted as methods to resolve such lack of perfections. Irrespective of the roots of the institution, wider the recognition, the better function and more of the expression can be attained when such recognition reaches its apex and when the norm is endorsed by the state as legally binding. It should be kept in mind that not all institutions require to support the government, but some do, so as to get away with ambiguity and to provide legal backing for the norms in question. Such institutions may be seen as public goods in that their benefits and cost are shared by all in the economy, no matter who took the trouble to establish them. How do economic institutions function? The form that the institution takes should not be taken as the most crucial determinant of its functioning, although important. For instance, institutions that are similar exist in many countries that govern the collection of bad debts, but the time that it takes in recovery of such debts varies depending on the details of administrative requirements and the efficacy of the legal system. On similar lines, the significance of the differences that can be found in the extent to which property owners feel secure in their rights, even when the form of entitlement may be the same. Thus, the actual functioning of institutions requires a detailed investigation rather than mere recording of the apparent form. By deeper understanding of underlying norms in society on matters such as the extent of generalized trust and individual freedom versus obligations to wider collectives, their functioning may be determined, and this is what is required for the study of institution. Role of economic institution. Economics combines in itself as a social science the study and analysis of production, distribution as well as consumption of goods and services. Manufacturing units, distribution channels and consumers, these three informally can be called as the categories of economic institution. Great attention is paid to the institutions in advanced modern economic theories. In institutional economies, institutions are deemed to play a very central part while giving a concrete form to the behavior of other players in an economic setting. International institutions play an important role by increasing stability and reducing uncertainty. Need for regulation. The world is growing very fast economically. Today, everyone has a sound awareness about the concepts of globalization and modern technology. In such a scenario, it is difficult to do away with the part that economic institutions play as they assist in shaping how people behave in an economy. The gravity of proper rules and regulations for economic institutions in order to set stage for fairness as well as effective and sustainable economic growth and development cannot be ignored. Impact of economic institutions. The functioning of institutions potentially affects the factors that help to determine the economic growth as mentioned below. Investment. When security of property rights exist, owners of capital are more likely to invest, all other things being equal. If it is simple enough to trade, obtain credit, retain a reasonable share of the profits, that is without excessive taxation, and to insure against risk, investment is again encouraged. Stimulation of investment can be made possible when establishing companies or more informal economic groups and the organization of their functioning is comparatively uncomplicated. Technical innovation. By securing intellectual property rights, it is easier to promote private investment in research and development of innovation. Economic organization. When institutions facilitate transactions and cooperation between individuals, whether in formal companies or less formal cooperatives, it is likely to be more effective and efficient, delivering the benefits of specialization and economies of scale where they apply. It is easy to imagine that there will be reinforcing interactions between the factors. For example, if technical innovations are readily generated by economies and where economic organization is efficient, are likely to be seen as having a good business environment and consequently likely to attract investment, thus it may well be that sets of institution function in synergy to generate growth. Profound influence on the pattern of economic growth and the distribution of rewards within economies and societies and thereby effect on the levels of poverty is seen of the institutions. Clear definition of rights on property is important as they assign entitlements of factors of production and may also affect the bargaining power of different groups in the society. More subtle are the means through which institutions governing transactions and economic cooperation allow those without immediate access to the factors of production to obtain credit, rent, land, trade and to form small companies or cooperatives and thereby earn their livelihoods. Classifying economic institutions. The table herewith depicts one among the ways by means of which economic institution can be probably classified. As represented by the table, among all the means present below is present a possible way of classifying economic institutions by commodity or industry specific, resources, funds and banks, regional associations and global organizations. Major economic institutions of the world. In the present scenario, economic institutions show their presence globally, influencing the lives of people living in each country alike. Below we discuss all of these institutions in detail and enlist their characteristics. The first one among them is GATT. General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade was the beginning of large-scale multilateral trade negotiations. First round in 1947 in Geneva, 8 rounds altogether through 1993. 5 key principles of GATT are: trade barriers should be lowered in general and quotas should be eliminated. Trade barriers should be applied on most favored nations basis, no discrimination among trading partners. National treatment, imported goods treated same as the domestic goods. Tariff concessions once made cannot be reconsidered without compensating trade partners, and erection of new barriers is not possible to replace lower tariffs. And last is the consultation for settlement of trade disputes. Major rounds of GATT negotiations are represented in the table below, which actually shows the brief of a few of the GATT negotiations. In Uruguay 8th round, 1986 to 93, over 100 nations participated, very contentious because issues went far beyond tariff reduction, non-tariff barriers, intellectual property rights, service trade, agriculture policies, improving how GATT functions, created WTO as successor to GATT beginning in 1995. The next one is the World Trade Organization, which is also known as WTO. WTO continued with all 5 key principles being followed by GATT, an intergovernmental organization which regulates international trade. Officially, the WTO came into being on 1st of January 1995 under the Marrakech Agreement, which was having the signatories of 123 nations, as signed on 15th April 1994, replacing the GATT, that is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, which commenced in 1948. Regulation of trade among countries who are participating by provision of a customized structure for negotiating trade agreements and an effective dispute settlement process aimed at ensuring that member nations adhere to WTO agreements that they signed by the means of representatives of member governments and ratified by their respective parliaments. A major part of the issues that are focused by the WTO are the derivatives of the previous negotiations on trade, most emphasis being on the Uruguay round 1986 to 1994. The 2 main roles of GATT are continued by WTO, which include enforcing existing trade agreements and serving as forum for new talks to liberalize trade. The next institution is the International Monetary Fund, which is also known as IMF. At the Bretton Woods, it came into existence by 29 nations in 1945 by means of a series of meetings between the Allies in July 1944. The 188-member IMF works as the core institution for monetary matters in the international economy today. Membership fee or quota, that is the price of membership, is the major source of funding for the institution. The member size and status determine the members' voting weight. High-income countries' voting power is disproportionate to population. Functions of IMF includes: first, prevents crisis in a financial system by promoting sound macroeconomic policy. Second, financial crisis. In the event of a financial crisis, borrowing takes place by the member against IMF quotas. Third, IMF conditionality, that is requirement for the borrowing member to carry out economic reforms in exchange for a loan. Fourth, IMF resources are inadequate for the financial crisis in large economy. Fifth, monitors international payments imbalances. Sixth, provides temporary loans for the balance of payment financing. Seventh, main function is to help countries overcome international payment crisis. IMF bailouts for the troubled economies are Mexico, Thailand, Indonesia, Korea, Russia, Brazil, Turkey and Argentina. The next institution is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which is also known as IBRD. It has more than 180 members. The year 1944 laid down the foundation of the World Bank as the International Bank for the Reconstruction and Development at Bretton Woods. IBRD and International Development Association comprise the World Bank. Its membership and structure are similar to that of IMF. Members have voting right in proportion to the number of shares owned. Original purpose is to provide financing mechanism to rebuild Europe after World War II. Capital reserves were insufficient and US found it politically desirable to control rebuilding. The main functions of IBRD today are assisting development in non-industrial economies. Main functions is to provide loans to the developing countries for the projects aimed at poverty reduction, improvement of health and education system, infrastructure for private sector developments like bridges, dams, etc. The next institution is UN, that is the United Nations. International organization of 194 member nation dedicated to the promotion of peace and global stability, has many functions related to business. General Assembly, part of the UN which comprises of all member nations where each one vote whether its size, wealth or power to deliberate on various issues in large or small. Security Council, Main policy setting unit of the UN formed of 10 members and 5 permanent members. Economic and Social Council, that is ECOSOC, that is ECOSOC. This body of UN is concerned with the social and economic issues comprising of trade, development, education and human rights. International Court of Justice, known as ICJ. This is a part of the UN which deals with legal decisions which involve disputes between national governments. Secretariat. It is headed by the Secretary General. It is the staff of the Union. The UN was rooted in 1945 in order to deal with many issues including culture, human rights, security, etc. Functional commissions, social development, human rights, etc. Regional commissions like ECA, ECE, ECLAC, ESCAPE, etc. Specialized or independent agencies like ILO, FAO, UNESCO, WHO, World Bank, IMF. UNCTAD was brought to life out of the dissatisfaction with the role of developing countries in the world economy, which is a group of 77. It also published the World Investment Report. Now, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, which is also known as UNCTAD. It comprises of 194 member states. Its main responsibility is to deal with the development issues, particularly international trade, which is the main driver of development. Think, debate and deliver sum up its major works. It often produces innovative analysis forming the very basis of recommendations to the economic policy makers. Informed decision-making process and promotion of the macroeconomic policies best suited to ending global economic inequalities and to generating people-centered sustainable development is its aim. A forum, the UNCTAD, where representatives of all countries can without hesitation indulge in dialogue and brainstorm on ways by which a better balance can be brought in the global economy. Direct technical assistance is offered by UNCTAD to developing countries and the countries with economies in transition to assist them in building the capacities. Ministerial level meetings are held by UNCTAD every 4 years. Also, discussions are held with the civil society, which includes the likes of the annual symposiums where members of the public can express their views and interact with the country representatives. In every 2 years, the World Investment Forum is organized by UNCTAD, bringing together major players from the international investment. The next institution is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This is a group of developed countries dedicated to promoting economic expansion in its member nations. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which is popularly known as OECD, is an international economic organization of 34 countries founded in 1961 for the stimulation of world trade and economic progress. It acts as a platform for the countries so as to allow themselves to represent as committed to democracy and the market economy, identify good practices, providing a forum for the comparison of policy experiences, seeking answers to common problems and coordination of the domestic and international policies of its members is another area that is dealt with. In 1948, the OECD originated as the Organization for the European Economic Cooperation, which was known as OEEC. It was led by Robert Marjolin of France to help administer the Marshall Plan, which was rejected by the Soviet Union and its satellite states. Reformed in 1961 into the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development by the Convention on the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Extension of its membership to non-European states also took place at that time. Most OECD members are high income as well as very high Human Development Index, that is HDI economies, and are regarded as the developed countries. Such policies are promoted by the OECD, which are designed to cater to the below said. To attain the peak of sustainable economic growth and employment and a rising standard of living, for making a contribution to well-established economic expansion in both members and non-members so as to aid the process of economic development, to make a contribution towards the expansion of world trade on a non-discriminatory basis in accordance with international obligations multilaterally. The next institution is EMU, that is European Monetary Union. It is a group that established the use of euro in the 12-country eurozone. The 3 countries from old EU that do not participate are the United Kingdom, Denmark and Sweden. Slovenia joins in 2007. The single currency reduces the cost of doing business across EMU country borders. The Economic and Monetary Union, that is EMU, is an umbrella term for the cluster of policies aiming at convergence of the economies of all its member states. EMU members comprise of both the 19 Eurozone states and the non-Euro states, which are 9 in number. The Copenhagen criteria is the recent chunk of conditions for joining of new states. It consists of the requirements that are to be fulfilled at the time framework within which this must be done in order for a country to be a part of the monetary union. European exchange rate mechanism, participation for minimum 2 years, through which currencies of various candidates are demonstrated, hence establishing economic convergence in order to achieve the maintenance of limited deviation from their target rate against the euro, is an important element of this. The next is OPEC, which stands for Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. This is a permanent international organization whose headquarters are in Vienna, Austria, was established in Baghdad, Iraq on 14 September 1960. So as to assist the coordination and unification of the petroleum policies among its members and to provide an assurance regarding the stabilization of oil production so that the security of efficiency, economic and regular supply of petroleum to the consumers, a steady income to the producers and a fair return on the capital for those investing in the petroleum industry can be maintained. In 2014, OPEC comprised 12 members, including Algeria, Angola, Ecuador, Iran, Iraq, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Venezuela. As per the United States Energy Information Administration, global oil prices are affected by the OPEC crude oil production. As production targets for its member nations are generally set up by the OPEC, when a reduction occurs in OPEC production targets, oil prices increase. Projections of fluctuations in Saudi production result in the changes in the price of benchmark crude oils. At the time of conception of the OPEC in 1960, a group of multinational companies known as the Seven Sisters dominated the international oil market. Marking a turnaround in the state of control over natural resources, a collective act of sovereignty by oil exporting nations as represented by OPEC. During the 1960s, it was assured by OPEC that oil companies could not unilaterally cut prices. In the list of the top 10 most influential people in the shipping industry by Lloyds in December 2014, the names of OPEC and the oil men have appeared. The apex authority of the organization is the OPEC Conference, constituting the delegations which has the ministries of oil, mines and energy of member countries as their heads. It meets twice a year in March and September and in extraordinary sessions whenever required. Principle of unanimity and one member, one vote is the core which it operates on. The next which we are going to now study is the criticism of these institutions. First, sovereignty and transparency. It is said that national sovereignty is violated by imposing unwanted domestic economic policies by various institutions. Within an international institution, transparency is another concern about the mechanism with which decisions are made. Second is ideology. Providing developing countries with technical assistance and suggestions form a reflection of the biases and wishes of developed countries. Third is implementation and adjustment cost. Cost of agreements more easily absorbed by large developed countries and the costs are difficult for developing countries. And fourth is an additional consideration is that those administrating the rules may also resist change simply owing to the thereof. Summary. Humanity today is living within a framework of institutions and faces a significant impact on the lives of each one of us. An economic institution serves the function of enhancing development and financial security through the provision of financial services in a society. An economic institution may provide business inventory financing and indirect consumer loans. It may educate society about how to make sound financial decisions. Other economic institutions such as insurance companies provide cover for the various risk factors in addition to providing investment opportunities and loans. Hence, it is important to realize their individual importance.